Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Monsters video. So in today's video I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I wanted to make like a top 10 type of team that you can use mainly for PvP, but if you want to use it for like other stuff, for example like the Infinite Gauntlet, you can do that as well. But mainly on PvP you can use this team and actually trophy climb. And by the way, these are not in order, just letting you guys know. None of these teams are actually in order, but I wanted to basically make top 10 and I need you guys to let me know in the comments if you guys like this or not. Maybe in the near future I can make one again. So coming in at, well, once again, it's not in order, so I'm just gonna say it. The first team that I came up with is Bombitta, Daigil, and Linworm. So these three monsters are really good all together. You can go ahead and give your Linworm full speed, a Bombitta with 2 team speed, 1 life, or you can go with 2 life with 1 team speed. If you want to add that extra team speed, it's actually not that bad. It will help your, for example, your Linworm get more speed, right? And your Bombitta is going to absorb all the incoming damage. So if the enemy still ends up getting the first turn, it doesn't really matter. Not a big deal, to be honest, because, you know, you'll be fine. You have your Bombitta that's going to take all the incoming damage, and for the next turn, you know, you'll be fine. And then after that, make sure your attacker actually does something before they end up getting eliminated. And speaking about the attacker, which is Daigil, it's actually a pretty good attacker. So Daigil, you can give him 2 strength with 1 speed, right? And what Daigil can do is basically boost his, what's it called? He can boost his strength, right? With the laser beam sword and with the strength runes, of course. He'll have a ton of strength rune, or just strength in general. He'll have a lot of it, and from there on, what he can do is basically just dominate. He can do so much damage, and you see a lot of Bombitta bases as well, especially on PvP. So what you can do with Daigil is give yourself triple damage, which is, I believe, Light Hater or something. No, wait, it's not a Light Hater. It's like a specific type, like a book type that he, you know, gets. Oh man. Oh wait, never mind. I have a slot open. Cool. Oh, awesome. All right, that's awesome. That's actually my first time getting a tier 6. I'm so happy. I don't know why. I'm just happy. But getting back to that, altogether, that team is very good. And if you'd like to run that, you can. You can also change some things around a bit as well, because I have like 9 more teams to go. Now, before we get into the second team, one last thing. The Daigil and Linworm, they can both hold a, what's it called? They can both hold an SN. So if you do have Ural SN, let's say you have 2 of them, what you can do is equip 1 Ural SN on Linworm and the other on your Daigil. And both of those monsters, if they end up getting eliminated, you'll be fine, because then, you know, what's it called? Your both of your monsters will come back, and once they come back, you can have a chance still to take your revenge, basically, if that makes sense. But anyways, the next team that I want to mention is Lynwood Vampire and Bombitta. This is the team that I'm using, and I might actually switch some things up around a bit. Oh, I should have used the spooky skill first. But yeah, recently, what's his name? Oh, sorry, Valley. You guys know Valley, right? I made a video with her. It's actually the leader of Hounds of Justice. So she mentioned Vampire, and she was using it as an attacker. And so when I saw it, I actually liked it a lot. So I wanted to give it a try myself. And what I did, I give this monster 2 strength rune and 1 speed. And not gonna lie, she's really good as an attacker. So if you haven't actually tried this monster as an attacker, she's fantastic. Make sure you're running 2, what's it called? You can run these 2 extra turn skills, and then you basically have 3 turns, I believe, or 2 turns in the beginning. I actually forgot. And then you can use Nightmares of the Street, and you can do so much damage, especially against like earth monsters and stuff. And then with the relic, if you do have Charging Banner, man, it's so good. Make sure to run Charging Banner if you don't have it. It's a gold relic. Make sure to get it if you haven't already, and you equip it on it. It's so good. And then you can run your Linworm, of course, full speed as always. Bombitta, you can do, for example, 2 team speed and 1 life, like I mentioned earlier, and you will end up dominating, like how I am right now. It's really good. But that was the second team that I mentioned. So the third one is Lynwood Vampire. Vampire Stroll, by the way, not the actual Vampire, the legendary one. I'm talking about this one right here. And the third monster is Shelly or Talisa. So you can either use Shelly or Talisa, whichever one you want. Vampire, of course, the attacker. Linworm, the denier, to go in first, you know, do his stuff. And then Vampire is going to be the attacker. And you can use, for example, Talisa as a team support, right? Like team speed, just to give team speed and stuff, or just in general to, for example, maybe go in first if that's possible. You can actually turn transfer with Linworm to that monster, remove all the positive side effects, and then after that hit them with what's it called, trade disable with Mega Freeze, and then after that your Vampire Straw could actually dominate because they'll lose 2 turns and they're trade disabled. So even if they're immune to control, you can just hit them with that right after you trade disable them. So it's really good altogether. And if you want to run Shelly, that's even fine. Shelly with the damage mirror, Megaton, full shield, it's really good. And Shelly could actually come back if, let's say, the monster ends up dying, because it is a Megaton. It's supposed to absorb all the incoming damage. And if you do have an SN, like a Revival SN, you can actually equip it. And, you know, Shelly will just come back from dead. And by that time, you'll probably end up winning. Okay? But anyways, moving on to the next team. Bombida Tabora. You can, for the third monster, you can either use Hardy or Daigil. Those 2 monsters, like as a Cosmic attacker, do really good. So you can either use Hardy or Daigil once again as the attacker. But Bombida and Tabora, they actually work very well. For example, Tabora, you can go with full speed, right? The monster could go in first and, like, for example, remove their positives, trade disable them and stuff like that. And then after that, you have your Bombitta that's basically absorbing all the incoming damage. And then finally, you have your attacker, either Hardy or the other. And once again, they could dominate. Hardy has anticipation, so if let's say there's a Vampire Straw and uses a bunch of extra turn skills, well, you know, you have a Hardy in your team. Or you could just go with Daigil, that works too. But moving on to the next team. So the next one, I have Linworm, Ignis, and Vanoss. And I'm not talking about the legendary Vanoss, because if you do end up using the legendary Vanoss, you'll probably die. Like, the monster will die right in the beginning and you'll probably end up losing the battle. But I'm talking about the Vanoss 2099, like the Cosmic one. So Vanoss, if it's at level 130, that's actually really good, like rank 3, because then what you can do is you have Pierce, right? So even if they have Megaton, you can use the AoE skill and it deals so much damage. It depends on your strength, like how much strength you actually have. But seriously, altogether, that combo is actually pretty good. So Linworm getting all the speed runes, right? Like 3 speed, it's supposed to go in first, and then you have your Ignis that's basically having the team speed support that's giving more speed to Linworm, and then finally your attacker, which was Vanoss 2099. So it's really good altogether. But anyways, we have, oh, this one is actually kind of underrated. I barely see anyone really using this. Okay, this next one that I'm gonna mention, which is Erder Gracon and Wormlad. I barely see this, honestly. It's a really good combo. If I had these 3 monsters maxed out or something, or somewhere close to being maxed out, then let me tell you, I would use it. I would really use it. It's a really good team. Okay, because you have Erder, which has taunt, right? The other monsters have dodge area, and which she can do, Erder, is apply damage protection, and basically the only way to really deal with her would be to use your single target attacks. So for example, like these ones right here, you know what I mean? But if it's like AoE skill, it doesn't really land. It lands, but it only lands on Erder, and it barely does any damage since it's since the monster has what's called damage protection. So that team is really good. Let me know what you guys think about that. But the next one is Tabora, Bombitta, either Kodama or Linworm. You can use either Kodama or Linworm, whichever one you want, whichever one you have. Actually, you can do both of those, or one of them, I meant, of course. So Tabora is supposed to give full team speed to your monsters. Then you have Kodama or Linworm that's supposed to go in first, having basically almost full speed, right? And then, of course, your Bombitta is supposed to absorb all the incoming damage. So you can basically do a lot with that team. You know, you have your Megatons, and then you have Tabora with the team speed. You could remove positives and also trade disable. And then finally, you have either Kodama or the other to, like, for example, what's it called? apply the trade, just trade disable and stuff. And then after, what you can do, you can, if you're running Linworm, you could, for example, baby reverse them, right? With that skill, you can apply baby reversion. Some of them are immune to control, they can't really be affected, but remember, you are running Tabora on your team, so Tabora could actually trade disable and remove positives. So that's actually a really good combo. And same with Kodama, like I think I did mention Kodama. Yeah, you can actually hit them with AoE cooldown activation, which is really good. So that prevents them from attacking for almost 2 turns, or maybe more than 2 turns. Alright, this next team isn't so bad. It is actually a pretty good team together, although it can be countered. But here's the team: Linworm, Mana Fusion, and Zyron Ruby. I'm sure you've seen this, especially on Era Royalty. Man, in Era Royalty, players were actually abusing this team. Like, if you actually watched my video on Erder Royalty, which was a while ago, I actually was bullied by that team. Seriously, it was a bunch of players from Hounds of Justice and other teams. So it was actually pretty good, not gonna lie. They did very well with that team, and it's pretty broken, to be honest. But yeah, so basically what happens is that, what's it called, your Mana Fusion and Ruby, it's supposed to give full team speed, and if you have mutant runes, although not mutants, maybe like level 10 team speeds, right, giving full basically speed to Linworm, and then Linworm has all 3 actual speed runes, not team speed but actual speed runes. What this monster could do is get that speed, go in first, quickly turn transfer over to Mana Fusion. Mana Fusion starts getting rid of, like, for example, Megatons, start trade disabling and stuff like that. And once that's done, you can turn transfer over to your Ruby, and then Ruby could, for example, use what is it called? Ruby could use Ruby Implosion. I think that's what the skill calls. Although you do have to get Ruby to rank 3 to be able to do that, unfortunately. But I mean, rank 3, I don't think it's really that hard. You can just grind the dungeons for Elementiums and stuff. So altogether, that team is actually pretty good, not gonna lie. Because with Ruby Implosion, you could apply either Mega Freeze, Mega Possession, Mega Stun, whatever, so they lose like almost 2 turns, and by those 2 turns you can actually apply what's called Curse with Linworm and do a lot more. Honestly, there's so much in that. So that was another one. We have 2 more to go. It's Hardy, Vampira, and Shelly. Vampira's troll, not Vampira, once again. This girl right here. So yeah, Hardy as your attacker, Shelly as your Megatons, supposed to absorb all the incoming damage, and then finally Vampira's troll to go in first. Now, we're not talking about the attacker Vampira's troll. We're talking about giving this monster full speed. Okay, that's the case. So Vampira's supposed to take in the first turn, and then from there everything goes on. You know what I mean? So you can actually do that, and it's actually a pretty good, deadly team. Not bad at all. You can use Hardy or Daigil, one of those 2 attackers. Hardy would be fine too, honestly. That's why I put Hardy in there. But other than that, that is the 9 teams. And now finally the last team. This team is actually pretty darn good. I'm not gonna put it on top 1 or anything. Once again, this isn't an order or anything, but I think this team is really good, and it can do a lot. Okay. We have Shelly, okay? We have Bombitta, so that means 2 Megaton monsters, 2 tanks. And then lastly, we have Vampira. Now, we're not talking about the Vampira that's supposed to go in first with full speed. We're talking about the attacker Vampira. Okay? So the 2 Megatons, they absorb all the incoming damage. If 1 Megaton dies, it's fine. The other one lives, and that one can actually take all the damage and stuff. And then you have your Vampira as your attacker, right? And oh man, it's such a good team. It is actually a really good team. So I wish I actually had Shelly. If I did, I would have actually run that team. I would have ran that team, but unfortunately I do not own Shelly because it was an exclusive Legends Path monster. So yeah, but other than that, that team is pretty darn good, man. The team is so good. Let me know your opinions. Let me know which team you think works best. Although, once again, none of these were in order, okay? I don't think any one of them is better than the other. So, you guys just let me know which ones you really like, alright? But anyways, I want to see if I could actually end up winning this battle here. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to try to get rid of the Megaton monster first because it is such a pain, to be honest. Finally, we got rid of it, and then we also have to get rid of our bats with the other. I'm actually going to do revert events, heal again, and reapply the Megatons a little, just a little longer. And then get rid of you. Use the Reaper to get rid of that. Spooky. And we'll just do Flying with the Devil to apply the total blind. And Baby Reversion. Man, this team, I do like this team, what I have here. It's actually not that bad. I really like it. But anyways, oh wait, you came back. And you're bugged, apparently. Yeah, you're bugged. Oh, okay, there we go. We finished it off, and we got victory. So I'm really happy I actually got that tier 6 chest, though. At tier 6, we got it. And it was actually my first time getting it. So that's awesome. But anyways, guys, that right there is going to be pretty much it. Let me know once again your thoughts, your opinions about it. I would like to hear them. I would love to hear them, okay? So yeah, and if you have any more teams that you think works out really, really well, you can go ahead and let me know in the comments and let others know in the comments as well. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.